We climb the slopes of life with throbbing heart and eager pulse, like children toward a star. Sweet siren music cometh from afar to lure us on meanwhile. Henrietta Cordelia Ray, from her collection of poetry. I'm Stephen Middleton, coming to you from the Possibility Action Network. Our core values include I am, I can, and I will. I am Possibility Man. Today we're bringing you another February focus, We See Possibility. Our subject today is Charlotte E. Ray. But first, a reminder, if you have not gone over to YouTube and subscribed to my YouTube channel, I invite you to do so today. Subscribe, like, and share, and encourage your friends and associates to do the same. And if you have not liked my Facebook page, I encourage you to do so today. Share my page with your friends, and let's see what we can create together on the World Wide Web today. Now back to our share, Charlotte E. Ray. Let me say from the outset that she gained renown as being the third woman lawyer in the United States. And she has the unique position of being the first woman attorney in the District of Columbia. And by the way, Charlotte E. Ray was a Black American. Now let's talk about this woman, her background. I want to remind you, this is the mid-19th century when she was born. And also, this is within the African American, the Black American family, and there are not a lot of records about her. So we cannot go to the archives and open up a big box with diaries and letters and the like about this important American. But we are able to sketch out her background, her life, and her career. We know, for example, that she was born in New York City. Her mother, who named her after herself, was Charlotte Augusta Burroughs Ray. Her father was Reverend Charles Bennett Ray. Her father also became the pastor of Bethesda Congregational Church. He was a founder of a newspaper. Its name was The Colored American, and Reverend Ray was also one of its editors. He and his wife had 7 children, and 3 of them were girls, including Charlotte. They were progressive parents. Progressive in the sense that Charlotte and her husband wanted their children to get an education, especially their daughters. I could see Charlotte's mother thinking she didn't want her daughters to be dependent on marriage to be able to take care of themselves. We don't know very much about their brothers, but Charlotte and her 2 sisters, Henrietta Cordelia and Florence, all attended school in the District of Columbia. Their parents imagined that their daughters could become school teacher, a very important job in any era of American life, and I would say in countries throughout the world. And these 3 girls, Charlotte, Henrietta Cordelia, and Florence, did become school teachers, but they set their sights on some things that were higher. Henrietta Cordelia, for example, enjoyed creative writing. She enjoyed writing poetry, so she went back to school and earned a master's degree in English literature, and of course with an emphasis on creative writing. She would go on to write a couple of books of poetry, and when the United States celebrated the emancipation of Black Americans, they called on Henrietta Cordelia to memorialize the emancipation in her poems. Florence also became a teacher and then joined Henrietta in writing a biography of their father. These were outstanding young women. And then Charlotte landed a job. Not only did she graduate in D.C., she landed a job in Howard University's preparatory program. Now, this program was within the university, but it was set aside to train students who came to college with limited skills. And then Charlotte decided she was at Howard University, a school that also had a law college. She decided to enroll in the evening program at Howard University School of Law. Charlotte completed her legal training, and in 1872, she took and passed the bar examination to practice law in Washington, D.C. As any good lawyer would do, she rented a room to put her office there and began to advertise her services in local newspapers. She would do real estate law. She would do commercial law. And of course, if necessary, she would practice other forms of law as well. As the year proceeded, a woman came to her. Her name was Martha Gadley. Now, Martha Gadley had a unique situation, and she needed a skilled divorce lawyer. Another lawyer had taken her case and had applied for her petition of a divorce in the local courts of Washington, D.C., but the court denied her petition. Women were not highly regarded at this time. She was a wife. She had a husband, and she was expected to play the role of a wife. But then her husband was exceedingly abusive. I will not repeat the kinds of things that I read about him that he did in the papers. You look it up yourself. It's just very ugly. And Martha just had come to her wit's end. She not only wanted a divorce, she needed that divorce. And then one day, she knocked on the office of Counselor Ray and told Counselor Ray, her story. Counselor Ray decided to take the case, and she appealed the case of the early district court to the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. The court listened to her argument, and there are some reports that says that Charlotte Ray was a forceful and articulate and persuasive attorney. And the court, upon hearing her plea on behalf of her client, granted Martha Gadley a petition for divorce. That was a major success for this young attorney. However, as she continued to do her work in Washington, D.C., she discovered this, and most Black attorneys discovered the same thing. Their target market, Black Americans, didn't have the resources to pay an attorney for their services. She would do work pro bono, but of course she could not earn enough money to live the kind of life that she wanted to live. So therefore, because of that, she returned to teaching, returned to New York, and began to teach, and also became involved in activist issues. For example, she joined the National Woman Suffrage Association. She also joined the Association of Colored Women, whereby she devoted her life to teaching and writing for civil rights. Now, there's one thing we know about Charlotte Ray and other women like her. It was as if they were in a dark room in the middle of the day. They were in a dark room with the sun shining brightly outside. As they turned to the door in this darkened room, it was as if they saw a light coming from a crack in the door. And they found themselves walking toward the light. And this is what Henrietta wrote in the poem that I shared at the beginning of this February focus, We See Possibility. I'll read this short poem with you now. We climb the slopes of life with throbbing heart and eager pulse, like children toward a star. Sweet siren music cometh from afar to lure us on meanwhile. Responsive start the nightingales to richer song than art can ever teach. No passing shadows mar. A while the dewy skies no inner jar of conflict bids us with our quest to part. We see adown the distance rainbow arched. What melting isles of liquid light and bloom. We hasten, tremulous, with lips parched and eyes wide stretched, nor dream of coming gloom, enough that something held almost divine within us ever stirs. Can we repine? Henrietta Cordelia Ray no doubt expressed the longing that she felt. She no doubt expressed the longing that her sister Charlotte felt. She no doubt expressed the longing that their sister Florence felt, to participate fully in American society. Now, of course, you will never see a big biography of Charlotte Ray. But in the annals of time, when you talk about the legal education of American barristers, no matter what sex they came from, one should never ignore the contribution of Charlotte E. Ray. I'm Stephen Middleton, coming to you from the Possibility Action Network. Our core values include I am, I can, and I will. Bringing you another February focus, we see possibility. I am Possibility Man. Until next time, good day.